Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really zeroing in on a big challenge for managed service providers. It's about handling cybersecurity, which keeps getting more complex
Right.
without getting totally swamped or, blowing the budget.
Absolutely. It's a tough balancing act for sure. And, well, one thing everyone's talking about is XDR, extended detection and response.
Exactly. XDR. Sounds promising, this idea of connecting security dots. But as we looked into it, one thing really jumped out, especially for MSPs,
Uh-huh.
and that's open integration. With clients having all sorts of different tools, it feels less like a feature and more like, well, a necessity.
You've hit the nail on the head. Fundamentally, XDR tries to pull all that security data together,
Hmm.
from endpoints, networks, the cloud, identity stuff,
All of it.
all of it, into
Yeah.
one place, one workflow. The idea is you see threats faster, investigate better, respond more effectively, because it's all connected.
Okay. Sounds great on paper. But there's a catch, isn't there? Especially for MSPs?
There often is. A lot of XDR platforms are kind of closed system,
Hmm.
meaning they want you fully in their ecosystem, which might mean ditching security tools you already have, tools that work perfectly well for your clients.
Right. And for an MSP managing dozens of different client environments, that rip and replace approach, it's just not realistic, is it?
Not at all. And that gets us to this reality MSPs live with every day. Tool sprawl, it's just
Yeah.
everywhere.
So give us some examples. What does that look like?
Well, think about firewalls.
Mm-hmm.
You might have one client on Palo Alto, another swears by Fortinet,
Mm-hmm.
or endpoint security, maybe it's CrowdStrike over here, Sentinel over there.
And then add cloud platforms.
Exactly. M365, AWS, Azure, they're all in the mix. Supporting literally dozens of different tools isn't unusual. It's pretty much the norm.
Okay. So you've got all these different tools all generating security data. What are the actual problems this creates? The day-to-day headaches?
Oh, they're significant. First, you've got data silos. Critical information is just locked away in separate platforms.
So you can't easily connect the dots.
Precisely. It's like trying to solve a puzzle when the pieces are scattered across different rooms. Then there's the operational drag.
Wow.
Your security analysts are just burning time, switching dashboards, different logins, trying to make sense of data in different formats. It really slows things down.
And I imagine that impacts threat detection itself. Things get missed.
Absolutely. Big blind spots open up because there's no correlation. A sophisticated attack might trigger little alerts in a few places, but if no one connects them,
The bigger picture gets lost.
exactly, the serious threat slips through. And let's be honest, there's a cost factor too. Licensing all these point solutions, often with overlapping features, it eats into margins.
Okay, the pain is clear. So let's pivot to the solution our sources point towards: open integration. How does an open XDR platform actually fix this tool sprawl mess?
Well, the whole idea is connection. An open XDR platform is built from the ground up to integrate with what you already have.
So it doesn't demand you throw everything out.
No, quite the opposite. It connects to those firewalls, the EDRs, the cloud setups, even your ticketing systems that are already in place. It pulls in the data, normalizes it, makes it speak the same language, and then correlates it,
Turning noise into something useful.
turning fragmented data into actual actionable intelligence. That's the goal.
So walk us through it. What does that mean for an MSP team on the ground? What changes?
Operationally, it's pretty transformative. First off, detection and response get much, much faster
How so?
because you're pulling telemetry, that security data, from everywhere in the client's environment. You can spot things like lateral movement or data exfiltration attempts much earlier.
This
No matter
matter-
where it starts.
Because you have that unified view.
Right. Analysts can triage faster, respond quicker.
Yeah.
That helps meet those crucial SLAs.
Makes sense. No more hunting around in 10 different places.
Exactly. Which leads to the next big win: centralized workflows. Analysts work from one screen, one interface.
Instead of juggling 5 vendor consoles.
Yep. Alerts, investigations, playbooks for how to respond. It's all there. That boosts productivity, sure, but it also cuts down on simple human error.
And automation must play a big role here, too.
Absolutely. OpenXDR really unlocks automation across the whole stack.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this scenario. Suspicious login to M365.
Okay.
An open platform can automatically say quarantine that user's endpoint, block the .eip address at the firewall, and create a ticket in your PSA tool.
All without someone manually clicking buttons?
All automatically, instantly. That's a massive efficiency gain, especially for teams that are already stretched thin.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. And the other piece seems to be smarter tool consolidation. Not forced, but strategic.
That's a really important distinction. Open platforms let you keep the tools that work best for you and your clients, the effective ones.
But maybe retire ones that aren't pulling their weight.
Exactly. Or ones where the functionality is now covered well by the integrated system. The key is the XDR platform adapts to your stack. You're in control, not the vendor.
Okay, operationally, the benefits are clear. Faster response, better workflows, automation. What about the money side? How does open integration help the bottom line?
The financial advantages are pretty compelling too. First, you preserve existing investments. That's huge.
No big disruptive rip and replace projects.
None of that cost and headache. Second, you avoid spending twice. You're integrating tools you already pay for, so you don't need to buy duplicate features bundled into a closed XDR you might not even need.
Right, paying for the same capability twice makes no sense.
Definitely not. Plus, that central view helps you spot waste. You might find licenses for tools that aren't really being used effectively across your client base.
Ah, so you can trim unnecessary license costs.
You got it. And finally, dealing with fewer vendors overall gives you more leverage in negotiations. Reducing that vendor creep, it all adds up to better profit margins, which, let's face it, is critical right now.
A definite win-win. Now, you mentioned our sources pointed to Enhance.io as a platform really built around this open philosophy. What makes their approach stand out?
Yeah, Enhance.io came up specifically. What seems key is their focus on empowering the MSP. They're explicitly not about vendor lock-in.
Their whole design is about interoperability.
That's the message. They seem to really get that MSPs work in these diverse environments and built their platform to connect things, not replace them.
And the list of integrations we saw was pretty extensive.
It really was. Covering the mainstays, firewalls like Fortinet, Palo Alto, SonicWall, EDRs like CrowdStrike, Sentinel-Alone, Microsoft Defender,
Clouds.
all the big ones, AWS, Azure, GCP, plus deep integration with Microsoft 365 email, identity endpoint, even seams like Splunk, and critically the PSA and ITSM tools, ConnectWise, Autotask, ServiceNow.
That range really tells the story, doesn't it? They're adding a layer on top, not forcing a foundation swap.
Exactly. They provide that correlation, that automation, that response capability across the existing tools, giving MSPs that unified view, that single pane of glass.
And what are MSPs actually seeing? What are the real results mentioned?
Well, the feedback highlighted faster onboarding makes sense if you're using existing tools. Much deeper visibility because you're correlating data across everything in real time.
Leading to smarter responses.
Smarter responses, yeah. Automating containment, ticketing, notifications with more precision, and ultimately better economics. Delivering those valuable XDR outcomes, but doing it cost-effectively by leveraging the tech you already have.
So if we boil it all down, it sounds like for MSPs today, open integration in XDR isn't just nice, it's fundamental for staying agile, for being efficient.
That really is the core takeaway. Client environments are diverse. Your security stack needs to reflect that, embrace it even. Open integration lets MSPs do more with what they have.
Better visibility, more automation, more client value.
While cutting down on overhead, complexity, and just the friction of managing too many separate vendors.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. Take a hard look at your current security approach. Is it truly leveraging everything you've already invested in? Is it empowering your team?
Or are the limitations of a closed system maybe holding you back, preventing you from being as effective or profitable as you could be?
Definitely something to think about, the long-term impact of vendor lock-in versus the flexibility of an open approach. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive.